Is providing the service live on Comcast Xfinity Government Access Channel 9. Those without cable, visit YouTube for live streaming. Board members Stefan Roundtree and James Noon are participating via remote participation in accordance with the requirements of 940 CMR 29.10 via speakerphone due to geographic distance. All votes during this meeting will be made via roll call. All right. As it is 7 p.m., the first item of business tonight is site plan number SP7-25 at 160 Scusa Street on the application of North and South Rivers Watershed Association, Norwell, Mass., requesting site plan approval under the zoning bylaws of the Town of Pembroke, Section 5.7, site plan approval. The applicant proposes to repurpose the commercial building at 160 Scusa Street from the existing retail store occupied by Have to Have It into the new office function hall for the North and South Rivers Watershed Association. The site is developed with the existing commercial building, gravel parking lot, and gravel fenced enclosure. Property has frontage on Scusa Street to the south and is abutted by commercial and residential properties to the east and by the North River to the north and west. Property lies in both the Business B and Residential A zoning districts, with the building, parking lot, and majority of the proposed project being within the Business B zone. Now, this is a public hearing, just a couple of ground rules for the public hearing. We're going to hear from the applicant for 160 Scusa Street first. They're going to present the project. Then we're going to have questions from the board. We'll also hear from the board's peer review engineer. This project has been peer reviewed. Then the board will have some questions for the peer review engineer. And then we can open it up to some public comment if the board is satisfied that all their questions have been answered. If not, we can continue the public hearing. But seeing that there are quite a bit of people in the room, we'll probably open it up for public comment. We want to limit public comment to 10 to 15 minutes. Please listen carefully to the presentations tonight, because a lot of the information you may be looking for will be in those presentations. All right, thank you. Tell us who you are and what we got here tonight.
Yes, good evening. For the record, James Garfield. I'm a registered engineer with Force Engineering. Here tonight representing the applicant being the North and South Rivers Watershed Association. We're here tonight for a site plan review associated with commercial site redevelopment at 160 Scusa Street. The subject property is approximately 13.75 acres in size, currently developed with the commercial building occupied by the Have to Have It retail business, and the applicant is in the process of purchasing this property. This site was specifically chosen due to its unique combination of commercial use and access to the North River. We're proposing to reuse the existing building and repurpose it for office and community engagement space. The existing site currently provides approximately 22 parking spaces within the existing gravel parking lot. This area will be reused, and we are also going to supplement it with the existing gravel fenced-in area located to the rear of the site, now totaling 44 proposed parking spaces. 2 of these spaces will be paved ADA spaces, and they will also have a new concrete ADA-compliant ramp for access into the front of the building. We're proposing a new deck off the rear of the building, a new pervious patio area, a new covered open pergola area, and 2 composting toilets. Some improvements we're making to the site, we're proposing 2 rain gardens adjacent to the existing gravel areas. These stormwater systems will help to improve the on-site drainage where no stormwater systems currently exist. We're proposing vegetated screening between the existing building and the roadway, being 4 new maple trees. We're also proposing 35 new arborvitae trees as screening to the residential abutters. We have submitted this plan to the Pembroke Fire Department, and Jim Shea indicated that he was satisfied with the design. He may be here tonight to speak on that. He did request we provide a fire truck turning analysis to prove that we could access the rear fenced-in gravel area. We've provided that on the site plan. Deb Keller with Merrill has also peer-reviewed this project, and at this time we believe we've satisfied all of her comments. Please note this project has received approval from the North River Commission. We've also been before the Pembroke Conservation Commission and would anticipate their approval at their next hearing. So all in all, we believe this project would be a great improvement to this site. With that, I will turn it back to the board for any questions.
And you requested the continuance of the hearing with the Conservation Commission, correct?
Due to the fact that the site plan needed to be updated per Deb's peer,
Gotcha.
but they had nothing further that they requested.
Okay. Why don't we get started with the waivers requested? Just go through them with us, if you would.
Sorry, I don't think I have that list.
They do seem reasonable. And Deb has reviewed them.
Okay, so the waivers we're requesting are the landscape plan requirement, the development impact statement requirement, the photometric plan requirement, and the traffic impact study requirement.
Okay, on the photometric plan requirement, what lighting is being proposed for the site? There has been some lighting historically, which has been problematic there.
We're currently not, by the way, Dick Halverson, I'm working as a consultant with North
Take
River.
the microphone, Dick, please.
I'm working as a consultant, helping the North River Commission through the permitting process. We are currently not proposing any change to the existing lighting that's there. There is some lighting on the building facing the parking lot and the commercial property. There is one floodlight on a pole which exists right in front of the proposed pergola building, which has been, the light on it has been redirected from general lighting back again toward the commercial property in the parking lot. And to the best of our knowledge, and we've polled several of the residents across the marshland that had a problem with the prior lighting. That problem seems to be satisfied, and we've had no further issues that we're aware of with the lighting. So we're proposing to leave the lighting basically as it exists today.
Gotcha. And the lighting that's there existing, Deb, conforms with our photometric requirements?
Should be all dark sky compliant.
Okay.
Yeah, shielded.
Good.
So I had a quick question about the 4 maple trees on the front where you're requesting the landscape waiver and also the traffic study waiver. They won't block exiting or entering the visibility up and down the street.
They shouldn't, no.
What size do you think they'll be?
We've
3-inch.
proposed 3-inch caliper.
Okay.
Any questions, Deb? Do you want to give us a little background on the things that you've requested and what's been followed through on?
So, good evening, Deb Keller with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors. So, as stated, we did review the site plan, and just to highlight a few of the notes, you know, again, with signage on the property, since it's changing uses, kind of asked what they were going to do here, and they've indicated that they're going to utilize the existing sign and just repurpose it for the North and South River Watershed Association. We looked at some of the street parking, on-site parking. All of it's gravel other than the 2 accessible spaces up front. They'll all be coming or pulling into the face of the building, and very similar to what's there now, other than the fact that they're expanding in the back. So they are cleaning up that area, and it will now be gravel. I think they have a split rail fence.
Proposed, yeah, currently
Proposed.
there's a chain link.
So with that, and as mentioned, we reviewed the stormwater, and it was true that the 2 rain gardens will help with any runoff coming off of the gravel parking area. They've redirected all of the roof leaders from the existing building plus the pavilion area towards both rain gardens. So that's, from a stormwater perspective, all addressed.
How much additional impervious area was added to the site plan?
I think it's just really the accessible spaces.
Okay,
They are redoing the paved apron at the entrance, but no, I shouldn't say that. They have a pavilion, which will have roof surface, which is impervious, but they're using pervious pavers below, even though
Gotcha.
they're capturing the roof and directing it to the rain garden, so it really is minimal.
okay.
Do you have that info, Chip? Have it on-
I
yeah.
apologize.
But all the calculations are based on the impervious areas
That's correct.
proposed, sure.
Yep. As mentioned, the maple trees are proposed out front, and that's mainly in front of the building, so shouldn't, in the driveways off to the, standing on the street to the right, so should not impact site distances.
And then the reason for the request for a traffic study waiver is you're not expecting this to be a high-traffic
Use.
destination or use?
That's correct.
Okay, any approximation on how many visitors you'll have? Probably with a peak during the weekends, I presume?
It would be whenever they have an event, I think.
An event, okay.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And I'm guessing it was somewhere between 30 and 40, right? Is what you anticipated?
Yep, so it's gonna be, what we provided on the application. Minimum number of daily vehicles is approximately 12 in the off-season, 25 to 35 during the peak season, and then for any specialty events, community gatherings, 30 plus.
Okay,
We'd be at 44, is that correct?
44
and
spaces
six.
provided.
Provided,
Yep.
so hopefully that'll work. What's one other thing?
and I guess with the
think that's-
developmental impact statement, I mean, the scope of the activities are very limited to
To
what
the
you guys
existing.
do, so.
Yeah. And just a little add-on, as, you know, the focus is to encourage the community to be involved with the North River itself. They are looking for a dock, right, to improve the dock?
That's correct, and we've received permitting through the North River Commission and Conservation
Conservation.
Commission for that dock.
Great.
So we'll be moving forward with Chapter 91 license.
But, the only other sort of note, and I'm sure they're aware of it, is when they do their utilities for the water service improvements, whatever once they see the service that's out there and see whether or not it's adequate, and if they need to add a new one, I believe they'll be adding the fire service anyways. They will need to go through Mass Highway access Route 39.
Yep.
Would be just an extra permit process. Should be pretty straightforward. Looking through to see if there was anything else to highlight. They do provide O&M anticipated material stockpile, construction staging on the plans. We did coordinate and just make sure that the operation and maintenance plan notes that no snow storage is allowed in the rain gardens. They are kind of located conveniently for that, so I kind of wanted to make sure that language was in the O&M so that everybody is aware that.
Are you providing any signage for that?
Not currently, but it is in the operation and maintenance contract for the rain gardens.
Okay.
They talked about the fire truck access. I think that's it. It really is pretty straightforward.
Good.
I can answer any questions if you have anything further.
Sure. Does the board have any other questions or concerns?
I guess I have one regarding the area that leads down to the pier. If it's going to be gravel, is there going to be any plans for possible erosion?
So, yeah, the pathways that lead down to the pier.
Pathways that lead to the pier were at one time paved. There is still some remnants of paving. That will all go away, and it will be a continuation of a gravel surface until we get close to the pier, and then it will remain just in its natural condition.
So the question was, what's being done to avoid erosion towards the North River as a result of
There
that?
will be basically grass surface down in this area.
Okay,
There is currently a paved existing boat launch or kayak launch ramp which will remain. And there is a retaining wall in here also existing from prior uses.
Gotcha.
That we will leave in
And
place.
additionally, we have mulch stocks proposed as erosion control barriers
During
Okay.
construction.
during the.
that's during construction.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Jim, any questions?
No, I'm good.
All right.
And just for those that are interested, this is an artist rendering, picture of the existing conditions and artist renderings of the modifications to the existing building. So we're
Gotcha.
not changing it dramatically, but we're adding some interest to it. And the pergola structure will mimic the appearance of the building as well.
All right. So having heard from the board and the peer review and the applicant, is there anyone who wishes to make any public comment regarding this application? All right, hearing and seeing none, we can continue, or we can close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we need a roll call vote. Jim? Stefan? Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Okay. So, conditions have been prepared for 160 Scusit Street. Had a chance to look at them. Have you shared these with the applicant? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. The conditions look reasonable?
They do.
Okay. I can accept a motion to accept the conditions as presented. Is there anything here that the board feels should be notated or highlighted? Okay. All right.
I make a motion then to approve the conditions as presented.
Yep. Grant site plan approval with the conditions as presented.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. Roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
Me, I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Appreciate your time, thanks.
Yeah, appreciate the presentation and the work that went into it.
Looks so much nicer.
No, but we can approve them right now.
Sorry.
Thank you for keeping me on point. All right, so we do need to approve the waivers that were requested for that project. And just so you know, we always do that after the public hearing is closed. So, do I have a motion
I'll make,
to approve the waivers as follows? I'll just read them and you can so move the motion. Is that fair enough? Okay. So, accept a motion to approve the requested waivers as follows. Section 4.7 and 5.1 landscape plan, section 4.15 and 6.0 development impact statement, section 4.21 photometric plan, section 4.22, 6.7 and 6.8 traffic impact study.
So moved.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, great. We need a roll call vote on this. Jim? Stefan? Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, folks. We're going to go on to our next item of business. This is a big one, so we intend to take some time with it. We have had a lot of time devoted to this. Let me open the public hearing first. So, this is a public hearing for subdivision number 2501-A on the application of Weather Vane at Pembroke Country Club LLC, Hingham, Mass. The applicant seeks approval of a definitive subdivision plan entitled Weather Vane at Pembroke Country Club, site plan approval under section 5.7 of the Pembroke zoning bylaws, and a special permit under section 5.13.1.a for an age-qualified cluster development on approximately 256 acres at 94 and 58 West Elm Street, shown on Assessor's Map B11, Lot 33, and Map B10, Lot 3, within the Residential A zoning district. Proposal includes updates to a previously approved project to add land and residential units on individual lots, totaling 175 age-restricted single-family homes. Okay, so before we get started on this plan has received previous site plan review. However, some changes to that site plan have been made. The major difference is that the lots will now be single-family lots with separate septic systems, which requires subdivision approval. All of the site plan approval regarding stormwater management and other major aspects of the plan have been reviewed already and has gone through several public hearings. So all of the work that was done on the site plan, or a lot of the work that was done on the site plan, applies to this too. So it's not like it's new. What is new is there's some land that's been added with some additional facilities being proposed. So that will come under the site plan and subdivision plan review tonight. And we hope to get your questions at the end of the presentation. Again, please listen carefully to the presentation so you get a good overview. And hopefully some of your questions will be answered during that presentation. All right, tell us who you are, and let's get started.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oops. Give me 1 second. This is working. My name is, I get a buzz. You folks been experiencing that before?
I don't know, maybe we can have our guy come
Try
in.
again. All right. My name is Jeff Taccio, and I'm an attorney for the Bristol family. Scott Golding, to my left, is here from my office. Taylor Corsano from Crocker Design Group, the engineer, is here. Then I've got Jim Bristol and his son Stephen Bristol, the owners of the entity that is doing the project. What we've done, I appreciate the summation. What we did when we put it together, obviously we've got a lot of acreage, and this went through an entire process, and it resulted in the plan that you see there before, which was approved in February of last year, is on the right, and that's the 172 unit version. What we did was we went through, we got approval of basically all of the ways they go through there, but that was put together as like a condominium. So the owners would go in, they get a designated lot area, and then everything there was on a single wastewater treatment plant. So it was an interesting concept because you basically go in, you've got a condo, and then all of the utilities for the wastewater is a big consolidated plant. What we've done, and if you look on the left, that is the new layout. What we've been able to do is we've basically retained all of the open space. Over 50% of it is the open space. What we've done is we've increased it by a net of 3 dwelling units. And in doing that, you'll remember we had the 8-unit multifamily house. We've basically arrayed things out so that we kind of spread them out, fit them in without the multi. Again, it's only 3 net additional units. We went through, we did the conventional yield plan, which folks have seen, and that yielded out, I think, 177. When we put it together, we were able to basically reestablish same roadway layout. All of that is the same, so the whole spine here winds up being all of the same. but it's going to be a subdivision, it'll be a private subdivision road, and that's what's been reviewed, all through the process when it was a condo layout, and again, through the process now that we're starting to lay it out, putting it together. And then the scale's off a little, so that's why they're not kind of looking exact when you do look at it. But they're now single-family lots, and they're a minimum, we're looking at 10,000 square foot minimum for the lots, and 50,000 square foot, 50 linear feet of frontage for each of these kind of cluster lots. So we're able to maintain all of those sizes throughout the plans that we have, and, it winds up arraying. If I showed you one, took it away, and you looked again, you really got to study this thing to see where the changes are. But again, the changes are all made to the same system of roadways that we had shown before. When you do look at it, basically the array, again, same general. If you look down towards West Elm, some of the changes also involve, I believe it's 80 West Elm and 58. One of them, which was included in the prior plan, is now going to be divided off so that it's now just going to be its own single-family house. So that kind of goes into the whole net, non-net. And then we've got the driving range. Driving range has been sized a little differently. We've got some pitch and putt, which go in around that, but that just allows for more of a use. It's all the recreational land, which is the open space land for this plan. So that winds up arraying rather well. When we went through this process and we filed it with you folks, we've done it as a definitive plan, which will eventually wind up, with a final endorsed plan at the end. We've also got the site plan review and then this special permit because, in speaking, with your office, planning, et cetera, enough's being added here. It's a change of the type of ownership that it makes sense. The single family type lots with the ownership allows for individual Title V systems, which avoids that big, large unitary septic. What that does is that makes this so that it can be built more quickly, absorbed by owners more quickly. It's easier to finance because you don't have to have all of that infrastructure in place. And what it does is it allows for the developer to come in, identify an area that is going to be developed, and then he can actually go in and start to do that. So what we're planning to do is to do it in phases, which will kind of go from the spine from West Elm up to Dwelly, probably 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 as they go forward. And then what we've done is we've requested, as we go forward, we've asked the peer reviewers to take a look at it as it is now, which is based on, all the roadway, et cetera, with lots where we presume that they will all fit. Going forward, let's say, for example, after the first third, if because of septic systems, we have to tweak lot lines and whatnot, what we can then do is we can come in, submit for further peer review, and tweak lot lines as will be needed. Again, 10,000 square foot lots, 50 foot of frontage, but it allows us to stay current on where we are on the plan. Is it more expensive for the applicant? It is, because you got to kind of keep going through the peer review, but it allows us to stay current and then begin building these. A main goal is to preserve the opportunity to also keep the 18-hole golf going while we're doing all of this. An alternative, kind of the way we were doing it before, it had the unitary system really bang the whole place up, and it was just a big hit. So you'd wind up with a front side stall, a huge investment on the front side, and then that just kind of dragged out the time. So we think that it's superior in a lot of respects as we come before to you folks. With that, I'm just going to look at my notes super quick. I think I hit everything that I intended to, and if you've got any questions for us, or if you want to hear from Ms. Keller, or comments or whatnot, all of her comments, we've looked at them, read them, digested them, they're appropriate, and what we would ask, to the extent that some of them are kind of ongoing or open, that if there is a definitive approval, that it be made subject to the points that she raises, but nothing that we saw Probably, frankly, because we went through the process before, nothing surprised us, and, nothing is unexpected.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from Deb.
Sure.
But then I also wanted to ask if the health agent was consulted about the change from the wastewater treatment to septic, 10,000-foot lots, are they adequate for that purpose?
Early on, when we were doing the whole change, so kind of the existential going in that we're going to do this, but until we get through here, we haven't gone back, just because we also have, where it's going to be all the Title V systems.
Sure, but a consultation was done with the health
Oh,
agent.
early on, but as far as the details and
Right.
going on, right, correct. So that will happen on a, system-by-system basis.
Right, so as each system's designed and engineered, you'll be seeking Board of Health approval.
Yes, so she was on board with it, but it just, so that you folks know, we don't go out and plan all the systems now, it's just, we get the process, and then it's, system by system, that's how we basically lay it out.
Okay. And then I know there's a room full of people, I know some folks have visited or asked me specifically about the new project on West Elm Street. So at some point, let's let Deb present on the peer review.
Sure.
And then if you could go into that in a little more detail, so people understand exactly what's going on West Elm Street. Because I think there's some significant interest in that.
Again, Deb Keller with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors, so. Sure. As stated, we did review this with the previous application, site plan review and special permit. We went through the same set of plans, and as stated, the roadways are in the same alignment, but now we're looking at them at the lens of a definitive subdivision roadway, so making sure they're asked if there's relief that they need to keep the roads as previously approved. They're asking for those waivers. For clarification again, the applicant has noted, and I would recommend a condition that this roadway stays private, because there are several waivers which they're asking for from the definitive subdivision rules and regulations. And what that allows them to do is keep the same basic road alignment that was previously approved through the site plan review and special permit.
How are those waivers any different than what was requested during the site plan review? Are they significantly different?
No, they're not. It's just that they're added because.
It's a
through this-
subdivision.
It's a subdivision, and
Okay.
you're looking at the subdivision rules and regulations.
In other
which
words,
you don't-
these are things that weren't required under
Required.
site plan review that are now required under subdivision. Okay.
Correct, correct. I did have some just really cleanup questions with regards to the stormwater, making sure that now that we have a definitive subdivision, we have all the appropriate easements shown on the plans that line up with the stormwater, which they have throughout the site. So that's just more plan work, making sure that all of that is lined up and coordinated. The one thing that I would like to see a little bit more information on, which is the pitch and putt. It was noted that stormwater was gonna be done during further permitting with conservation. I believe it should be included in this permit as well, since it is part of the development. I think that just needs to be
Sure.
included in the package.
And I don't think it's that complicated a
No.
petition, because you're
No.
not adding a lot of, you're not adding any buildings, correct?
Correct, correct. It's just a pitch and putt, so it would be the greens and making sure that you've got the stormwater in that portion of the project attenuated for it.
Okay.
I do have one question, and it was unclear on the plan, and maybe I missed it, but how you have access to that pitch and putt, whether it's,
That's a good question. So there is some interest in how access is gained to the site on West Elm Street, so maybe, Taylor, you could go over that, or Jim? Take the microphone, right? Take either.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to see you all again. We hosted a neighborhood meeting a few months ago, and these guys have been working hard putting the plans together, and Deb's been working hard reviewing them. As Jeff said, the roads all stay the same. One thing that didn't get mentioned, the housing is single-family lots, but it's still all age-restricted, so it's still all 55 and over. The Peterson parcel is where we planning to do the pitch and putt. So egress would be through the country club, the parking down on the lower lot, if you will, as you come up and over the hill. The back parking lot is where folks would park if they were just using the driving range and the pitch and putt. So the pitch and putt would just circle through the property. Basically, all still open space as it is today. When someone plays that, they're literally just bringing two clubs, a wedge and a putter. So it's just a simple, fun thing to do around the driving range that we saw as a nice amenity, and really kind of preserves what's there.
So there'll be no access to that facility through West Elm Street, only through the country club itself?
Right, so the only egress there would be for the existing home. We just cut trees around the house, and we applied for a permit to re-side it, re-roof it, do new windows and doors, and then we'll go inside over the winter to bring that house back. That house was built in the 1800s, so it's an old farmhouse. Lots of cool things in it, so we're looking to save that, and then just do the pitch and putt on the acreage where the cows and goats used to roam. So, yep.
So, no questions yet. We want to finish up. Well, we want to finish what we're doing here first. So, on that pitch and putt facility, do you have hours of operation? Are you planning anything like any lighting, any netting? Anything to protect abutting properties?
Yeah, it'll be designed, if any of the abutters want me to come and meet with them as we're doing it, it will be designed such that if you're a house that looks out at the golf hole, the tee box would be hitting away from your house. So there shouldn't be any shots here where a house comes into play that abuts it. And they're just wedge shots, so you're only hitting the ball 60 or 80 yards. It's not like people have drivers.
And from West Elm Street, along the roadway on West Elm Street, so the neighbors who abut across the street from West Elm Street, what will they see?
They would look at tee shots that go towards like the pond area. So the
But
green,
would there be a screening?
there shouldn't need to be. I mean, if fencing or something was requested, we could certainly
Okay.
look at doing fencing or arborvitae's, but it's, if I lived across, I'd like to watch, you know. It's kind of a nice amenity to watch, so. But everybody's different, so.
Is hours, did you answer the hours?
We mimic the hours of the golf course, basically. Lighting is something that if we were to do that, we'd probably come back and request it.
There is a waiver request for the photometric plan, which I kind of get for the interior of the project, but a project that may be more public-facing, we may want to ask for that there.
Yep.
I had one question.
Sure.
with regards to that. The septic system is going to get relocated for that
Yep.
parcel too, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Any other questions from the board for Jim while we got him here?
Yeah, Andy, I do have, I guess, one big question, and that is it necessary for this to go to a definitive subdivision plan? And the reason I ask that is it brings up a ton of waivers, many of which we would never grant, or historically never would have granted. And if it just remained a site plan and special permit, we wouldn't have those issues.
Yeah, so,
We're talking about, width of right-of-ways, stuff like that,
Yeah.
length of dead-end streets. There's a whole slew of issues that it brings up. And so my question is it necessary for it to be a definitive subdivision plan? And why couldn't it just stay a site plan with a special permit?
Yep.
Yes, excellent question. We went through the same analysis, and in order to get the lots to lay out, we've got to do it through the subdivision process. But I will say, the interesting thing is, we had the previously approved geometry, everything, so, as far as, it's gone through all the safety requirements, et cetera, that we're confident that, this is something which, not only is it approvable, it's been approved, and then I also, your peer review reviewer had mentioned, have a condition that it always remain private, absolutely.
so is that the distinction? So with a site plan, Jim, that site is going to always be maintained by the property owner. With a subdivision, a lot of those waivers have to do with the acceptance of the road by the town for future maintenance. So,
Understand that, of course, it doesn't prevent future residents coming in wanting street acceptance. But even having said that, a lot of private ways around town, we still require that they have a 50-foot right-of-way.
Yeah, I think the distinction here too is that just with the age-qualified cluster, you've got the entire scenario with the lots which don't meet the 40,000 square foot minimum. It's inherent to putting this together that there be certain waivers, because that's about as basic a waiver as there is. And there's the massive trade-off, which is the retaining over 50% of the open space, et cetera. So that another example, let's say a private subdivision in town that didn't qualify under this provision, there's no way that, it would just be apples and oranges. And I think the proof is in the pudding, where we had it approved under the other scenario, and we know that works. We just also know that the wastewater treatment plant, that entire scenario, really, because of the size of the property, just the enormity of the undertaking, and the need to keep the golf open, it's just too much to be able to accomplish it that way. In this instance, we also, excuse me one second, we also have the scenario where if we go in and we have to change a lot, we need to make some changes, we don't have to go back in and change the entire special permit. We can go in on a kind of a lot-by-lot basis and be able to make the changes, in the future on that perspective. So from the town's viewpoint, it's extremely efficient as well.
Can't do that. You need to present each of the lots with 40,000 square feet and the 150-foot circle and all that stuff we typically require on a lotting plan. And if it needs to get changed, it requires a revision to the entire package. That's why I was suggesting you might be better off to just stick with a site plan and special permit.
Don't follow, because we did do the conventional yield plan.
That's right.
Which we did it all, we showed that it works. It's just a situation here where, under the special provisions for the cluster, we're able to come up with and ask the board,
Right, but-
basically at the 10,000 minimum.
But now you're not doing the cluster anymore.
no, they are.
No, we are.
Absolutely.
I thought they were all single-family homes.
They are, but they're clustered.
Oh, I see.
So it's just, yeah,
Never mind.
good question. It's just a form of ownership, and it's an excellent question, because we were saying, do we have to do the definitive subdivision? And we started to chop it up, and with the individual lots, with the systems, when we brought it down, we said, yes, we do. So that's why the proposal is, as a definitive subdivision. It just so happens to follow the entirety of the previously approved layout, but it's a situation that with granted reasonable waivers, which we know from the other scenario, work on all the, drainage, geometry, et cetera, all fit into this age-restricted community. It's not This isn't just, it's not a standard subdivision with the 40,000 square foot lots, the, 150 with the linear frontage, wide boulevards, many, many cars. We've got, people who are the senior status, coming into size restricted units, bedroom restricted units, on so many levels, and we went through it as part of the original approval. Sure, we have 4 available parking spaces per unit, which is huge, but the bottom line is, we're probably gonna have a family in there that's just got 1 car, and we also have people who don't necessarily drive to work, et cetera, so, we went through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and the traffic study was done at that point in
Correct.
time as well.
Could
And
I would note that from my understanding, the whole premise behind having to do the definitive subdivision lies on converting from the wastewater treatment plant to single-family Title V systems that need to be on separate legal lots,
So, just
resulting.
kind of a follow-up to your question and or what you said in Jim's question. Is it not possible to continue with the lots condoized but have private septic? So they would still be condoized, they would still be owned, there'd still be an HOA managing them, so no wastewater management system, but have them individually. Because then that wouldn't fall under the,
Oh, to bring it back to
to
site
bring it
plan.
back to condos,
They-
but still
Or
have
site
the
plan.
individual
But isn't-
lots.
But they have to be on the septics have to be on the individual
Yeah.
lots.
But could it still be
A
communal?
condominium land.
Because, I mean, there's condos that have septic systems, like, and shared
And this-
septic. You could even do shared septic systems.
And there's subdivisions that have condo, that are individually owned, that have
And
their
then
own
we wouldn't
septic,
have
but they're
the-
still under a condo.
So I would suggest that the problems inherent to shared systems, shared costs, that's like a 10 on the, my head's gonna explode scale. Whereas asking for, hey, we got the same road,
Yeah.
it's already been approved, it's all approvable, that, to me, that's like, oh, great. We've done this before, it's under the special permit. That's the main umbrella that we have here, so that, I mean, that's the other thing. Oh my God, we don't have 40,000 square foot lots. There are a lot of big bylaw mandated changes here in order to accomplish this ultimate view. In our world, having individual septic systems on lots that's kind of dreamy, because then each owner's gonna own it.
Right,
They're gonna,
right.
so now we have permittable Title V systems with setbacks for Board of Health. Everything can be uniform, everything can adhere to your local and supplemental rules and regulations.
And in addition, the HOA is not responsible for the individual septic
Right,
plans,
right.
whereas they would have been responsible for a
Yeah.
wastewater treatment.
Well, I was kind of making them responsible for them again and avoiding
Yeah.
the subdivisions.
So the problem, honestly, with that is when you do shared systems, there are a bunch in Situate that I think of now, which are absolutely, they're not good. What they do is they often will kind of interlace System A, System B, System B fails, all of a sudden you wind up with just a kind of, it invades C, it invades A. It's not necessarily the best, as opposed to a wastewater treatment plant, which is this,
Right.
basically this massive treatment system that the only thing that winds up going into the ground is post-treatment water. It's not necessarily always like that with a conventional shared Title V system. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If it isn't, you got a problem.
So what is the plan for an HOA for common maintenance, like road maintenance, snow removal? Is there still an
Yeah.
HOA?
Yes. Oh,
And-
definitely.
And what is that going to cover in the new plan?
It would cover everything that was covered by the condo, so it'll do all the landscape,
Except the
lawn maintenance,
wastewater
snow
management?
removal.
Everything except waste, so, okay.
It'll look and feel exactly like what was already permitted when you drive through it.
Yep.
That includes all responsibility for drainage, stormwater, and road maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's on the weather vane, the branding, the look. one of the requests that we will owe you folks is that the landscape, like the street trees that we have before, we gave that as part of the last approval. It's gonna look the same, but now, because the lots have changed a little bit, we can give that to you as it's approved with the lots, but it'll be the same look, same fit and finish. We brought in, Taylor, when we put this together, she brought in the landscape rendering off of West Elm, because that's gonna be exactly the same. Now, when you go up and then you turn, you take that first left, the middle boulevard piece is gonna be the same, but now there's going to be a house lot, for example, on that right curve. So, the bushes that were there are now going to be, a house with bushes, so we didn't bring that into.
Okay, Deb,
Just to ask.
okay, we got a question from Stefan. Go ahead.
Does this mean that the golf course and the country club is now going to be a separate property? And what happens in the event that maybe the golf course goes out of business and the property lingers around the entire development of all these individual properties now? What happens with that open space is what I'm asking.
Let's see, did you get a question?
Asking about if the golf course were to fail, I mean, this is the only chance the golf course has to survive, is the fact that this housing is coming in and introducing the economics that allow us to fix the golf course up, fix the buildings up. If it's just a golf course, it's open space. We intend it to be a golf course forever, but it's open space in perpetuity regardless. So even if the golf course failed, it's
deed restricted.
it's
open
deed
space.
restricted open space, so.
So once this is built, there's no way that open space can go into any other use.
Correct.
I have a question on the deed restriction in addition, is because I know in the cluster development, we have it as it can only be 2.25 bedrooms on it as an average. So how are we restricting that if, from homeowner to homeowner now, if they're individually owned, along with like the setbacks for each property now? If somebody comes to the building department and is proposing to put a shed on their property, how do we say where the setbacks are supposed to be? Because we have it as 10 feet between buildings, because we were in,
Right.
in writing it, it doesn't specify as individual lots.
So the first question was super quick.
Bedrooms.
Sorry, I talked about
How do you
value.
limit
So
bedrooms?
the condominium documents will limit, so you'll go in, there'll be a whole host of limitations, including, remember, the age restrictions, et cetera. There'll be restrictions with respect to, all, the bedroom numbers, et cetera, will all basically be laid out.
So
for-
each lot will have said they're allowed 3 bedrooms versus 2 bedrooms.
To keep the averages, yes, so they'll figure out on the numbers as they maintain that, so it's the 2.25, doesn't exceed that. With respect, you're right, on the other, it's the 10 feet between the buildings, I think it's 18-foot setback
From
on
the
the
road.
front, so those will all, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, exactly, and Deb asked that that be put on the plan set, but also that will be something that will be referenced in, basically the private documents that are out there, that are put together for all the owners. Just because the roadway, winds up, the lots aren't part of the part that's owned by the association, they're still going to be tied all into, controlled by the association as well. So that winds up being an on-deed restriction saying, this lot is subject to age restrictions, the whole deal, so that when these trade, there'll be basically someone do a title search like me, you'll run through and you'll be able to basically run through and not be able to violate that. And that'll all be enforceable.
So
Yeah.
you'd say, like, you, keeping a 5-foot setback between each property line versus the 10 feet between buildings, because that I can see becoming a neighbor-to-neighbor argument really easily.
Yeah, so they'll all be in the HOA, and just also so that they've done quite a few of these weather vane product, and it's interesting the way that it comes through. People are very, well, first of all, the houses have a certain aesthetic, so they look like, wow, that's a weather vane house when you look at it. People come in here, and it's not this, I want to put a swing set in, I want to put a trampoline. When you come into a community like this, you know what you're moving into, and the history of these is the people get along really well. They take pride in what it looks like, and the other people kind of keep everything up. Conflicts, people. What's funny is people will walk. That's the fun thing. A lot of strollers with grandkids. That's just how these places go down because it's the senior housing. They've got a certain vibe to them, and with respect to, I'll answer on the golf as well. They're putting in the investment in like the clubhouse. You'll remember all of those pieces. Everything's all staying the same. There's a big investment in keeping the golf course running. That's typically a big part of the weather vane kind of branding is we can have the golf amenity. That's a huge plus for the people who want to move in there. So by doing this, just so people know, there's no bait and switch or change or anything kind of funky going on other than if we can come up with a solution underneath the special permit umbrella on the wastewater treatment plant not being able to do that, it really saves on all of that front side time. Otherwise, if we were, for example, to do the wastewater treatment plant, you've got to get all of that in before you can sell lot number one. And from the town's perspective, we provided all of the financial, economic analyses, which is all great. But if we don't get started, you folks, those economic benefits don't start to hit. And especially in this market, especially with all the seniors, with the demand, we really want to start to get these units going.
Yeah, that's what you said, a year and a half ago.
Sorry. Yeah, right, 100%.
I haven't
right?
seen a shovel hit the dirt anyway.
Well, technically, right, if
Exactly.
we approve the
Right.
subdivision, taxes start being paid on every lot.
Are there other weather vane properties
Yes.
that are individual deeds, or are they all condoized?
Any other individuals?
Yeah, we've done a couple with the individual lots, one in Hingham and one in Weymouth.
Okay.
Same concept, small lots, but individually, fee simple owner. So it's kind of making everybody that buys a unit comfortable. They're all coming from a house where they have their own septic system.
Right.
They own the lot, and it's much more financeable for the end buyer as well. It's not just us as the developer that it's much more financeable, but the way it was permitted, we couldn't build it. It got to the point, going to banks, the numbers just didn't work. So this is really what we need to have to be able to build this out the way everybody thought it was coming. And I know it was a year and a half ago, we said we were gonna break ground. It's this, we've been in front of banks and trying to put together numbers with the package treatment plant, and the numbers just weren't working. So if we're not able to get to this, then, it's back to the elephant in the room plan that nobody wants. We don't wanna do it, I wouldn't
What
do
was
it.
that, 175 single-family houses?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what you're doing.
That's, yeah, well,
Because those aren't age
try
restricted.
not to.
The only difference is they're not age restricted.
The land use would be drastically different.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jim, the Weymouth, how many units we got there?
150 in Weymouth.
Yeah, but 150. And then that's the one that we talked about before. It's got the 9 holes, course all around it. It's, and that, when I was describing how people, walking their kids and they're in these little neighborhood clusters, that's what jumps in my mind. If you drive out there and check that out, you'll get a good idea as to what happens here. And you don't have setbacks like regular houses, but everything's kind of a little more compact, a little tighter, and it works.
Are these, there's some
Yeah.
drawings of units in here. Are these the same sizes that were previously proposed?
Yeah,
They look bigger to me, I don't know why.
we shrink as we get older. They're the same.
Just one question going on, back to what you were mentioning about walking around the development. Is it possible to extend or look at extending some of the sidewalk rather than, for instance, Mulligan's Drive? I noticed that the sidewalk only stops at the cart path and doesn't continue around the cul-de-sac, as well as Fairway Landing. It comes up to the T but doesn't go to the cart path, so people would have to hop off and walk in the roadway. If there's a justification for that, I'd like to hear it, or maybe extend a little bit of the
It's
sidewalk.
probably because of low traffic areas, just
Sure.
if you put it in your,
Well, I don't,
letter.
I wanna have it as a look at it as a planning thing. If it's
Yep.
not needed, the justification could be provided, or if you think it is a benefit, then
It's just the
let's
low
add it.
traffic of the
Right.
cul-de-sacs.
So it's basically the same as Walpole, right?
Walpole, Weymouth,
So
the folks tend to walk in the street, no matter what you do with the sidewalk.
we were asked the same
Because
thing.
There's not a lot of traffic, so.
We were asked the same thing, and we don't go all the way into the cul-de-sacs and bring it around. We're always asked that, and they've been approved without them, and that's kind of the deal. People walk, they go down the street, they just kind of go into the cul-de-sac, they do the circle. If one car comes through, it's like a driveway. So that's, yeah, we've gone through that. So if you go to Weymouth, you'll see the same exact thing, and it's nice, it works well.
Okay. Anything else that the board wants to hear?
So does this change where we moved the affordable housing down to the center of town? Does this change that somehow?
It's still the same number. It's just a 3 net, so it's like 10%. It wound up going from like 172 to 175 ultimately.
But the affordables are still planned.
Well, they're
for
still planned, right?
Eradication.
Yes, sorry, they're still planned to go there.
Okay.
And, yeah, in that property, fire department is,
Fire department's doing some training this weekend on the building, and then we'll start demolition next week.
so if you know what that means, it means the fire department's going to start demolishing it themselves this
They
week.
cut holes in the roof, it's fun, watch.
Okay.
And they're gonna have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
I did have a couple more things that I just wanted to remind, with regards to the phasing. It would be nice to have a general overall phase as described here, provided in the plan set. I don't believe I saw one in the documents submitted.
So, speaking of phasing, so timeline, as best can be expected, timeline, what are we thinking?
Build out would probably be 5, maybe 6 years.
Okay.
The main spine through the middle of it, the first 3 or 4 years.
But again, most of that construction work on roads and things like that is going to happen internally.
Yes.
Okay.
So where you're swapping out these are gonna be separate lots. The actual golf course building, the clubhouse and stuff like that, what, is that scheduled for like in the beginning? Or are you gonna wait and sell all these and then never do
No,
this?
it'll be a parallel path. We'll get the first phase of housing going, and this allows us to also break those into separate financeable projects, so we can take a building that sits on its own lot with its own septic system and apply to a different bank, and be able to get each one a separate project. So it makes the whole get the development done thing a lot more doable.
Okay.
And I think one of the other final questions, is just clarification on the lots that are not being developed as single-family homes, noting them, whether they're the golf course lots, because I believe all of the buildings are now cut up on their own lots.
Yes.
Making sure that they have proper frontage. I think they do. I saw one single-family house lot that I was asking for clarification on the frontage. But in particular, there were 2 lots that aren't defined, and I'd like them either, if they're open space, to be defined. These 2 up here,
Yeah.
I don't know, 82, 83.
They're just open space, yeah.
Combined into one and maybe noted on the lotting plan as not buildable or open space, so it's clear. those two look like ones that could potentially be built on, so.
And again, just to kind of summate, we read through the peer review comments, and we can take the requirements of this as a condition, as we're, going forward from definitive plan to final, kind of endorsed. Yeah, it was all workable, all made sense with respect to waivers, all the conclusions, all of the asks. If we could just do that as a blanket condition, if that's amenable to the board.
Those were, the rest of them are basically plan edits, clarifications. So those were the main comments that I had.
I have a septic question for you.
Sure.
So, because I know Title V says you have to have a 3-bedroom septic, right?
Mm-hmm.
All homes are to be built with a 3-bedroom septic, correct? So if these aren't 3 bedrooms, but they're being built for
They can be deed restricted.
deed restricted? Okay. And what about, because now with the law, the ADU law saying you can have an ADU, any single-family property can now build an ADU, so how does that also?
It's a very good question. I don't know, Jeff, do you have a answer?
Be restricted. It'll be restricted in the condominium documents.
Okay, because,
And so that would override,
HOAs.
okay, that will override.
the state.
Okay, because that was a concern, I'm like,
It'll be a
oh,
private restriction.
but can you do that?
Apparently you can. It's also under a special permit, so that may also make it harder to do an ADU, because you're under a special permit.
Right, but I'm looking at it like if we're our setbacks are different than our regular zoning. So now we're going from our standard 20-foot setbacks to now a 5-foot setback, and now squeeze in an ADU or put it in above the garage or something, because I know at like the weather vane, there's certain places that aren't finished over garages and such, where somebody could come in and design one, because people hire me to do that all the time.
Yeah,
So,
they'd be restricted with the septic, because even adding the ADU,
Mhm.
if you increase your bedroom count with that
Mhm.
ADU, you have to update it, as you'd have to update your septic system. If it, say you have a septic system for
Right.
3 bedrooms, and now you want to add an ADU,
Mhm.
now you need a 4-bedroom septic, which either they can restrict, or I would be hard pressed to find that on that space on that lot to.
right, well, I'm just thinking of within the space, it's, to basements, attics can be
Yeah.
converted.
We'll actually, so it'll be in the HOA, but we'll also accept a condition, because, the ADUs, the classic would be kind of like an in-law apartment,
Mhm.
or,
Yeah.
aging parents. So with,
Or young kid,
but we couldn't have,
College,
right, exactly.
graduate.
But the kids would be prohibited from the age restriction, so it winds up being a small population.
well, it's just restricted by the ownership.
They could live
Under
there.
50 can still live there. Under 55, right? Because
Yep.
the age restriction is just for ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So you
not-
could still have like a college kid move home and move there and build the ADU in the basement. I've done like a dozen of them this year.
So we would accept the.
Not an age restricted. I'm just like, I'm throwing it out there because especially if the state's saying you can build a 3-bedroom septic, all septics have to be considered a 3-bedroom, even if it's restricted. Well, say we make them put a 2-chamber tank in, and it's restricted to 2 bedrooms, well, the state law says you can't restrict any single-family home from putting an ADU, so now you have a 3-bedroom
gets-
septic. There's a loophole there, because I would fight
It
that.
gives even more, Title V with senior housing gets even different. It's super specified, specialized for this, what we've got. So just because you build something of a larger size, it'll all be in the and whatever, if you need to put that in to your special permit, the homeowners association shall restrict, et cetera. Also, we will accept the condition on ADUs as well as.
I think we'd have to make sure with the town council that it's okay.
I think it's an unlikely hypothetical. Jim, did you have another question?
Well, just to restate, I still have a concern with it being a definitive subdivision. I've heard all the discussion. I probably need to like re-listen to it all again because I may have missed bits and pieces. But having said that, I think where we're at is we want to get maybe an example of what this restriction is going to be. Is it a condo? What actually is it? And I have Koppel and Page take a look at it before we jump into the subdivision, which I kind of think is not necessary.
And have who look at it? What did you say?
Well, okay,
Town council.
Trying to sit on two chairs and we're going to, fall down in between the two of them. One being the definitive subdivision plan, one being a site plan with a special permit.
okay. Well, we've had a lot of discussion about that particular issue. It's partially a legal issue, partially a issue of what makes sense due to the change that was made. All right, I think we've heard enough. I do want to give enough time for public comment. I do want to take 15 minutes for public comment. Please come to the microphone, state your name and your address, and please direct any questions to the chair.
Okay.
Okay?
My name is Thomas Kelly, 61 West Elm Street, and I'm on a butter of the hole 3 and 4 of the pitch and putts. All right, the extension of the 18-hole golf course by 9 more holes, or in another golf course, basically. The description of the pitch and putt is, in my opinion, inaccurate. It's really known as a Part 2 executive course. This will come with all the ground crew apparatus, machinery, and work crew needed for its maintenance, and will be done early. I'm talking 5:30, 6 o'clock to get the golfers allowed on. And the other thing is the night lights. We haven't heard anything about that, and the netting. We have heard that there's no netting. A very important concern for our neighborhood. Okay, it's a scenic road. Mass General Law 4015C. You can look it up. You'll see that this is relative. This golf course extension will negatively affect the complexion and tranquility of the neighborhood. A change that as a proposed would be forever. Holes 3 and 4, we're talking about that pitch and putt.
So just to get to the distillation of your question, your question is, how much maintenance is required for this compared to the golf
The
course?
noise,
The noise,
yes,
lights, and
Lights.
any screening?
yes.
Okay, so can we get that question answered by?
Yeah, so the 9 greens get mowed daily.
What time?
You can condition it that they get mowed after 7 o'clock. I think that's probably,
When is the?
Okay,
I'm
ask the
I'm sorry,
questions.
but I just.
Mr. Kelly, ask the questions through me. We'll get them.
I'd like to know what time the golf course opens.
Okay.
I worked 3 years up there in a previous owner, and I know there were 6 o'clock golfers. and the-
Okay,
and the-
so
and the
one
maintenance
question is
crew was
when,
out there.
when are the operating times?
Yeah,
Okay, that question and the question of maintenance.
yeah.
Okay, those 2 questions, thank you. Jim?
so the tees would be artificial turf, so there's no maintenance virtually with those, a leaf blower this time of year. The greens themselves would get mowed almost every day. And it takes about 5 minutes to mow a green, so you're talking probably an hour to mow all 9 greens.
Okay, we do need,
And the lights and the
And
screening.
we could
Okay.
limit the opening time to, well, even the maintenance time to 7.
so we've talked a little bit about lights, talked a little bit about screening. I think the applicant is willing to work with the abutters on any lighting or screening
Yeah.
along West Elm Street?
Yep.
That's a really no-go on the lights on that.
Okay.
Because we're talking 100 feet from my bedroom and a bunch of bedrooms in here. And have night lights on, and if I could finish my paper here.
Quickly, we do have other people who want to
I
speak,
I
so-
get it, okay. We'd rather have a few neighbors living across from us than dozens of players of all calibers, driving daily through the 100-foot separating hole 3 and 4 from our homes. All right, by caliber, I mean, your lack of etiquette and skill. You mentioned that you'd like to see somebody. Well, if you don't have a net up and he hits that club, the pitching wedge, it's going anywhere you can think. Because we don't know who's on there. We're not getting pros. And we're asking to be your neighbors, not voluntary members of your golf course extension, all right? And I have to, I'd ask the board, how would you feel? If a lighted two-hole par 3 and 4 golf project was proposed 100 feet from your homes, with lights and noise, and the car part's another thing.
No lights. That's,
No lights.
Correct.
No. And a net.
Sir, can I just ask you, where, you're at 61?
61, yes.
Where, can you show me on the map where that is, just so I can get an idea in my
Sure,
head?
right there. Which one is the updated?
On the left.
Right. Right here. My house is right there,
Okay.
right? Anderson's home, right there. And we're talking, you take a measurement, and you're only talking across that road. That's my bedroom there, their bedroom up here. Matt's over here, he's up in front. And I don't see here with a T-cap, right here, you're hitting there, you're hitting there. Well, I don't care how good, I run into some pretty bad golfers, and they're not accurate at all.
Including you.
Yes, that's true. I've had many a slice and hook.
Into everything.
Exactly. So I think it's a great idea, but I don't like the idea of having 9 pitch and punch. Like I said earlier, it's really an executive course of par 2. And you're gonna have tournaments. And they can say no, but it's gonna happen. And why don't you just have for 7 holes instead of 9?
Okay, so let's get some questions answered for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
So, Mr. Tokyo, Attorney Tokyo, do you want to respond to that?
Yep, super, thank you. And, good questions on the lights. We had said earlier, so there's not going to be any lighting on it, so that's not going to be an issue. With respect, I think frankly, you'd have to kind of turn around and go off the tee box backwards to hit a house. The idea, it's not for executive. Executive usually like a par 3, which is kind of a little closer to what we have over in Weymouth. It's a pitch and putt, so it might be, the big example is Scott's got 2 young sons. He's not going to pay to bring them out. You're not going to pay greens fees on the course. It gives you an opportunity to go down, kind of teach your kids. You can putt. You can actually try to see if you can get them to wedge on. That's about it, frankly. But Jim, I'll say this. He said it earlier. I don't know if people heard him. He's really open to meeting with folks and going down. But truly, no lights. Maybe you guys should just stand there and say it's going from here to there, just to get an idea of where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And truly, if it's arborvitae, things like that, you say, hey, my window's here. We've done this in other places. The idea isn't to go in, thumb our noses, and hey, this is what's happening. It's a really nice opportunity to use the land, not try to put, houses, et cetera. Where the old 17-something house is re-siding it, you'll see all of that come back. I think it's not what you envision. I really invite you just to go and meet them there. How about the light?
And there's all the lights, we don't want lights, that's for sure.
Yeah,
No
agreed.
nighttime, that's ridiculous. And the other thing is the car path coming down.
Yep.
Where's the car path gonna come down? Is it gonna come down through the
Jim, can you show Tom where the
old,
path's coming down, please?
So it would be a walking path? We wouldn't have golf carts down
No
there.
cars.
So it would just be folks walking, playing this course.
Want to repeat that, Jim?
Here's my card. If you want me to come out and meet you and show you what we're thinking, I'd be happy to meet you out there. Yeah. Anybody else that wants a card, come see me before you leave. I'll be happy to meet you out there. And we can lay out. These are all conceptual holes at this point, so if you live right next door to one,
Want you to see our house.
we can look at your house and design the home.
The two on either side.
Okay, I know there's some other people waiting, and we'd like to get,
All right, thank you.
have them ask some questions.
One of
please.
the answers that maybe wasn't on the microphone is carts don't go down here, it's just a walking path.
Come on up to the podium, sir.
Sure, of course. I'll make this quick, I know, and we want to...
Name and address, please.
Yes, hi, good evening. My name is James Cantor, 15 Marais Pass.
And take your time, it's
Sure.
fine.
I want to raise a concern that directly affects the proposed pitch and putt property. After reviewing the peer review and related materials related to the applicant's Conservation Commission submission, I found omissions regarding a natural stream and potential vernal pool located within the wetland system. These resource areas, if confirmed, would directly affect how the land can be used, cleared, graded for recreational development. I also want the board to know that I submitted a detailed letter to the Pembroke Conservation Commission on September 17th this year outlining my concerns and haven't received a response yet. In addition, I believe the Pembroke Watershed Association has submitted their own letter raising the similar concerns. Because these issues fall under the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction, and because unresolved wetland questions significantly limit or restrict land alteration for recreational purposes, I respectfully request that the planning board not close this hearing or make any land use determination until the Conservation Commission has reviewed the concerns and has made a determination. I want to be really clear, I'm not asking the planning board right now to rule on wetlands. I'm simply asking that your decision be based on complete and accurate information, especially where wetlands resource areas could restrict land use.
Okay, yeah, so when this work is proposed to the Conservation Commission, yes, I'm sure they're gonna have to file an NOI for this?
Yes.
Okay, and those issues we do want to, they do, they want to address those issues.
Okay.
All right, but until work is proposed in front of the Conservation Commission. Now, I'm pretty sure that we can do an approval pending the approval of other boards, okay? So that is allowed. This board can, for instance, Board of Health makes approvals pending an approval by the Planning Board and approval by the Conservation Commission. So we're separate, we're totally separate boards, and for a purpose. So, but your concerns, I hope, will be considered by the Conservation Commission.
Just a question, well, I'll talk to them about how to raise them.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah. There'll be public comment when the NOI has a public hearing.
And I'll respond to that quickly. Yes, everything procedurally right on. Usually the conservation likes to know that they're like the last place that you go. So what we do is we'd ask for the approval here, but obviously they don't have to say it, but even if they say, it's going to go to the Conservation Commission, that'll all happen. We can't touch it without doing it.
Okay, thank you.
And there's public notice, if there is a, come on, if there is a potential vernal pool, you want to look at that in April anyway, so the timing would be right. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Nan James, Tom Kelly's wife from 61 West Elm. I do have a preliminary question for Jim, if that's okay with you. I would like to know, we have really heard nothing about the 58 West Elm, and that's Carl Peterson's estate. We live right across from it, as well as two neighbors, one on each side of us. So we don't know, we've heard so many rumors, we don't know whether the barn, Carl's hay barn, we heard it was supposed to be used for grounds equipment, and we went, oh no, because we know what time in the morning they have to start. So we'd like to know what the plan is for the barn, what the plan is for the little white rental house, and we already know that they've chopped a bazillion trees down. Some of them were really nice and kind of near the road. So that's my first thing. Just a general question, Jim. You didn't get a chance to tell us what else is going on.
So that house, we did cut the trees down. We worked with the conservation agent to make them aware. We put out a silt sock along the pond. Our plan is to re-side it, re-roof it, new windows, new doors. The barn, we hope to restore at some point too, but at this point, we're focused on the house. The buildings out back might be used for golf cart storage, maintenance storage, as we transition to the building that's permitted on this site plan. So, but if we do that, it would be through the driving range. That those equipment would get over to the golf course.
So I'll continue on, and some of this, Jim, is going to be something you want to think of too. But
Okay.
as you and the planning board, well, mostly it's for the people in the room that are interested, and the planning board know, West Elm Street is designated as a scenic roadway from the state or the town anyway, and as abutters, which the Massachusetts General Law 40, one of their concerns is aesthetic. We're not sure that a pitch and putt,
Okay,
there.
so let me explain the scenic byways bylaw. We have 7 roads in Pembroke. I won't name all of them for you because I won't remember them, but West Elm is one, Taylor Street, Oldham Street, High Street. On these scenic ways, if one wishes to take down a tree or alter a stone wall that is in the layout, the road layout, there has to be a public hearing. This is to preserve these nice scenic ways where you have a tree-lined street that looks beautiful. We want to maintain those as best we can. Also, some of the historic rock walls that have been here since the 17th century, of course, we'd like to preserve them. That was passed at town meeting, I think, in 1972. We generally try to abide by that as best we can. Unfortunately, people usually don't know about it. The property owners don't know about it. But what it requires is a public hearing before the planning board. It doesn't restrict any change to those rock walls or to those trees or the cutting down of those trees. So we all know there could be a tree that could be relatively large, diseased, dangerous. There are times when the electric company, NSTAR, or National Grid have come to the planning board for a blanket approval to do pruning of those trees on scenic ways. We grant it because it's for public utility use. So that's how the scenic byway bylaw is used.
How close to the road do the trees?
It's within the layout of the road. I think it's plus or minus 5 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
Now, first I want to ask the board, the standing wooden barn at 58 West Elm.
Okay, I think Mr. Bristol's
Yes.
answered questions about.
But I
the
need to know for
Well, we don't know for sure. He said that they haven't decided what they're going to do with those outbuildings yet, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Well, here's what I'm using my time to make comments. If that barn is used and operational at 5:30 in the morning, that's not acceptable.
But we've also said that we will consider conditions, okay? And those conditions would include hours of operation,
Right.
maintenance times. So
How
those
will
are-
we know what you decide?
Well, we're going to have to do that, okay? We're going to have to get those conditions on paper,
Oh, good.
okay?
Mm-hmm. All right. One idea, when you're thinking over these conditions, is that there's a large metal barn, you probably know about this, at the top of the property that was used for welding, and it would be a very good place for any equipment to be stored up there near the main golf course as opposed to down below. Okay, now pitch and putt. Most recreational golfers has occasionally hit the ball sideways, landing off the course into trees.
Okay, I think we've covered this already, all right? We've covered this with Mr. Bristol several times.
Well, we're just talking, I'm talking about the concerns
I
of
know,
our
we
neighborhood.
we
Every
heard,
golf
we
ball-
heard those,
Yeah, but you didn't hear about going into the street, hitting cars.
yes, we did hear about
Who
that.
told you that?
We just talked about it. Mr. Bristol has talked about providing screening and netting. He's talked about conditions. So we do
Okay.
want to give other people time to speak here tonight.
Well,
So I really, I would like you to.
I haven't been up here for my time yet.
Well, no, I dictate what time.
I want to hear what she has to say.
I understand you do, but I also, but
I
how,
want you to back off and let
I'm
her
not,
talk.
I'm asking,
Back
well,
off
I'm
and let
asking
her
that we
talk.
continue the meeting, all right?
This is for
All right.
everyone. We have a lot of neighbors here.
All right,
Relax.
give it another couple of minutes, but I do want to limit the time here.
Okay, all right, let me keep going then. The location, we feel that the pitch and putt should be entirely in the golf course area above. the two holes in question, it's not so bad during the day, we don't mind it. If it can be in writing that there's no lighting going to be involved ever, then that will be fine. We'll be okay with that. I'm just saying, in pitch and putt, we think, and all of us, I think, in the four of neighbors across the street, would be an eyesore. We've been living here for 23 years. It would disturb our peace and tranquility. Like my husband said, we know there are going to be many tournaments. You can't deny a guy and 5 friends coming down and playing with, golf with each other.
I deny there will be tournaments.
Good. Okay, thank you. Then I'm used up my time. Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have anyone else who'd like to come up and speak, please? Tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Matt Sleeper at 65 West Elm Street. Thank you to the board. A few different questions. Earlier it was mentioned that there was a traffic study conducted at the time of the original meeting. However, that study was conducted before the road was repaved on West Elm Street. And since that time, speeds have basically doubled, and I'm unable to get an enforcement detail in our part of West Elm, so I'd like that to be reassessed. Secondly, I'd like to request that any artificial turf not contain PFAS or forever chemicals. It's a very common issue, and the town water supply is near it. We use our land for farming. And then also, it was mentioned that the leach field at the Peterson property will be relocated, just earlier. There's not a lot of space left on that property, and it's also unclear if that's going to be owned by the golf course or separate. So just want to understand how that's going to be compliant with Title V.
Okay, excellent. So in the case of ownership, is that going to be subdivided out as a separate single-family home?
We plan to own it and probably have employees live there.
Okay.
But it's not
two-
part of the, it's
two
not part of
units.
the special permit project. It's
Right.
not part of it.
It would be a separate lot.
It's carved off, yeah.
Okay.
Then the septic system will likely go in what you'd now consider the front yard.
Okay, gotcha.
How's it going? Greg Howell, 33 Country Club Circle. Just question, I guess, maybe for Deb, because you mentioned something in the previous applicant. You mentioned the Dark Sky Initiative. And I know there are a lot of questions relative to the lighting of either the pitch and putt or anything else. Would this development under either a condominium type arrangement or homeowner type arrangement be subject to the Dark Sky type initiative?
So they would be under that requirement under the special permit, as well as the definitive subdivision. Definitive subdivision would focus more on their street lighting, if they have any street lighting. I believe they do. It's located, I believe it's on the plan. That's the only lighting that's on the plan right now.
Yep.
So it would be any of the housing lighting that they need to comply with, dark sky compliant as well.
But not necessarily the amenity features, like the clubhouse, the...
It's whatever is
driving range?
included in the special permit, so any improvement. The club, I would consider the golf course part of the special permit. It's part of the whole
And the
project, so it would need to be,
applicable amenities?
it would be, need to be compliant. Or a waiver requested.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the board?
Paul Anderson, 51 West Elm Street. So, and I understand there might be limited area that they can use as pitch and putt, but looking at the plans, it looks as though, is there any possibility of a setback on those two, number 3 and 4, I think it is? I mean, looking at that plan now, it looks like they're right on the 3 feet off the road. It might be just inaccurate.
Fair question.
I mean, putting that back would be...
Yep, we can look at that.
Okay. All right. I'd like to end public comment for this time. How do we want to proceed? There's a list of waivers that we need to consider. There are conditions in light of the fact that we've heard from Mr. Bristol tonight and Attorney Tokyo about conditions that we would want to set. It's at the pleasure of the board, or the board can discuss whether we should continue this to the next meeting of the planning board so we get our conditions all taken care of, reviewed. People understand what we're asking for. And in light of the fact that there are butters who have concerns about the pitch and putt, we want to take those concerns seriously. So we want to make sure if we do have conditions, that they're very clear for people.
I would continue and probably continue to January, because I think I'm a little uncomfortable with that. Like, I'd like to see town council more involved in this. I don't know, I feel uncomfortable about the ownership of the clubhouse,
Okay.
how that's gonna work.
Have we had town council with any of this? Have you talked to our town council at all? No? Okay.
I don't feel a sense of, I'm thinking after the holidays, I don't really feel a sense of urgency.
Anyone else with concerns? Okay.
I think it would be a good idea, though, to have town council just review what we're suggesting for approving the waivers, making sure it fits our bylaws, and making sure, like, setbacks, the ADU question, all
Okay.
of that, so we don't do anything that is incorrect, so no, for appeals or anything like that, so it, and.
Fair enough.
We
but-
want it done the right way.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just a precaution.
So, a review of the issues brought about by the board this evening.
We've taken notes, and what we can do is we can list them out like proposed, the questions, and then the proposed solutions, or the way that we'd handle those, we can get those to you.
Okay. And then we'd have town council take a look at it. Sue, what do we have open?
January 12th or February 9th?
Sorry.
I think we want to go with the 12th.
All right. I'll make a motion, we continue the public hearing to January 12th.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So we need a roll call vote, folks. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you. Okay, folks, if I could ask you to move out into the hallway, please. We have other business that we need to take care of, so we need to keep the noise level down. We'll give you a couple of minutes to file out, please. Okay, we do have other business tonight. Thanks for sticking with us, those of you who have to come before us. We appreciate your patience.
Your 12th, we're all going up for drinks.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
my 50th birthday.
Oh, no.
January 12th. January 12th. It's my 50th birthday. Yeah, that's why I went, oh, no, not January 12th.
Okay, folks, we need you to move through. We've got other business to attend to. Thank you.
Great Thanksgiving, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so,
I just have one more question.
no, we're done.
We're off.
We're done.
You can't.
I would like to see everything in writing before
Ma'am,
it's
we've
signed
got,
off.
we've
Is that okay to
got to
ask?
move on. We do
Everything is always done in
we
writing.
do everything in writing.
That's all I want to know.
Okay. All right, so next. Let's place my agenda. Where did I put it? Thank you. You're saving my life here. All right, so next up, we have a public hearing on the application of Corey and Tyler Doctor, 10 Leanne Way, Pembroke, Mass., for a sign permit for Flavor Profile LLC, doing business as Uncommon Cafe, 158 Center Street, Pembroke, Mass., as required by the zoning bylaw of the Town of Pembroke, Section 4, Paragraph 7, Center Protection District. All right.
Hi, my name's Tyler Doctor. My wife, Corey Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you. So we brought some pictures. Sue, do you have copies as well?
Yes.
So
Yep, we
some
have.
pictures of our proposed signs. we've actually repurposed the existing hanging sign, which will be hung in the exact same site. That's actually on the third tab is where the post that it originally hung. So if you now look at the second page, that's, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
you're
the-
talking about this one?
Yeah, so correct. That's the post where our sign will hang. That's the slot that was devoted to the train store prior to us occupying the space. So this is actually our repurposed sign with our logo on it, which is the exact same one that will fit in that slot. Now, let's see. So as far as that goes, the lighting will stay the same. There is lighting above that. Actually, it looks like it's in the middle of that post, and then we also have light on our front lawn area, which there will be a hanging smaller sign, like a rectangular sign, on the side of the building, which is also repurposed. Yeah.
It was also
And then we also ask permission to hang one more sign, which is our logo, on the side of the building to the left of the doors. This will be hung directly on the side of the building.
So that's the third sign?
Yes, correct. So yeah, if you were looking
Facing-
at it, if you were to pull down into the driveway, right to the left of the door, so you would see it visible from the gas station side.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think as far as the details for the signage, I think that's all we really have to propose. If you're interested in hearing about the hours, we've come up with the hours. It would be Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. We aim to do, as I spoke with in the previous meeting, we aim for a lot of grab and go to kind of keep things moving and people in and out. So I think that might be all we have as far as the sign. Is there any questions?
So these are wood?
It's more, yeah, the one that we're gonna hang on the side of the door is wood. The other ones are more of like I don't think they're metal, they're kind of like a.
Is it, can you just say it's wood-like?
Yeah,
Because I
it's
think
wood-like,
that's
yeah, I'm
the
sorry.
bylaw.
Yeah, it is
says
wood-like.
wood-like.
Yeah, it looks like wood, yeah. It's
Okay.
not
As I'm
rust.
looking at them, they look wood-like to me.
Yeah,
Right,
okay.
right.
Yeah.
And then it's white lettering on black background.
Correct, yep.
And how, the one with your logo, how big is that?
It's about 3 feet by 4 feet.
Yeah, looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Great.
Any other concerns of the board?
Isn't the address supposed to be on the sign, or am I incorrect?
I think it's
I
on
can't
the, it
remember.
has to be on the post.
Should be on the building.
Yeah, on the post. Since these,
Okay.
yeah. So you've got that on the one with the other signs,
Okay.
don't you?
I didn't see it on the one with the other signs, that's why I asked.
Gotcha.
Because I thought it was on
The
the
building one should
multi.
be.
It's on the building though, right?
No,
No.
but again, that would be building owner responsibility for the fire department, right?
Right.
Would it suffice to hang it, something with the numbers on one of the posts on that, where the signs
The
exist?
number
or-
is on the post.
Oh, it is on
Okay,
the
and
post.
then it's on the post, okay.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
whole, for the police flag and all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Could be enhanced a little bit.
Post here.
Yeah, I think it may be facing the street, the number.
Oh, okay.
It's like this
Gotcha.
little white thing.
All right.
Okay.
I think it's facing the street,
Oh, yeah.
which makes sense, because these signs are.
This- It's not like the fire department couldn't fund
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not that far away. All right, so I'll accept a motion to approve the sign for,
Do we have to close the public hearing?
yes, that's true. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Jim? Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
All right. Who's going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the sign for 159 Center Street. Center Protection District.
158.
Oh, thanks.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, and it's been seconded. Roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, we do have a couple more pieces of business to discuss here, and Deb has stayed behind so she can help us with the next piece of business, which is 29 Winter Street. So what we've got is a possible vote and discussion to accept the final as-built drawings for B&M 35 Hanover LLC, care of Mike Murphy, SP number 1-23, 29 Winter Street, self-storage building. Okay, so this has to do with the self-storage building. The as-built has been reviewed. There were a number of small issues that you saw, or I'm not going to qualify them, issues, let's say, that you pointed out. And the applicant is requesting to well, you'll let us know. What do we have here?
So I reviewed, did a site walk, reviewed the as-built, and the things that I noticed were, stop signs were proposed. Now they've painted stop with the stop bar, so is that adequate for the driveway? So to me, that seems reasonable, unless you really want them to install stop signs for the driveways.
That was the only thing?
No, that was just item one. Item two is probably the one that I wanted everybody to be aware of, primarily the owner, whereas you've got some pipes that are very flat, so they've got less than 0.5% slope in them, so they'd be open for clogging, sand sediment not getting flushed out like it should be through the pipe, so that they should be just aware of that, every year when they're maintaining the catch basins, they should be looking in those pipes and making sure that they're clean of any sand or debris.
Is there a maintenance schedule for that type of installation?
The catch basins should be quarterly, I believe, inspected quarterly, cleaned semi-annually. Most of the time in the fall and the spring is usually when they look for those. You want to make sure that the grates are clean from all the fall, and then in the spring again after
And the
snow melt.
property owner typically does that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's in they have an O&M plan, and I just, it's gonna work. It's just not ideal to have pipes less than 0.5% from a.
Is that different than the site plan?
It is different than the site plan, yeah. So it's flat across the parking lot, and then they have more pitch going into the basin, so I know it's gonna drain and it'll be fine. It's just, usually you want more than 0.5% on your pipes, so that you get what they call flushing velocity, so you can clean out the sand and sediment or any debris that gets settled. It doesn't settle in the pipe and pile up and then end up being a clogging issue down the line. I wouldn't want them to go and tear up their nice parking lot and redo it. It's just more of a notice on them that they really should pay attention and take good care of that, or they will be ripping it up and having to replace it.
Okay, so as a condition of
approval,
I'm just making a suggestion in return for allowing this.
Yep.
How do we put it to paper and give it to them in an official way that actually tells them this, right? I mean, it's not tied to an occupancy permit or anything else.
No.
Do you want to note to the building department that, I mean, what else do we have as leverage besides their not wanting their
Parking lot to flood?
Right.
Yeah, I can't, that's a good question. I don't know what you do, because it's private property, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're responsible for maintaining it.
Right.
I think that a note, a final note, a final letter to them saying that we, and again, it depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to allow this to be as is and not make them put the stop sign in, we know they need to remove the silt sock. That's
Yeah.
just standard stuff.
Yep.
If we agree to that, the final letter saying, hey, the board met, they decided on this, and we just want to remind you of this situation. Does that do enough?
Or
Puts
could
them on
we-
notice.
I mean,
Sure.
If the catch basins in question, if they do clog up, the drain line clogs up, where does the runoff go? Does it become the town's problem, or is it stay on the site and become a problem for the occupant?
I'm pretty sure, I don't have the plan in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it stays on site because everything pitches to the rear, grade-wise. So the road is high, pitching towards. If I'm gonna come up and sneak
Yeah.
a look at the plan.
Find the situation.
Right, so you're at 102, and everything is going down to the wetlands in the rear. You got 104 here, so 104. It's gonna flood this northern driveway section, and it's probably gonna come down the sidewalk and into the basin. So I don't see a drastic pitch towards the street. So,
I just noticed the 103 contour is missing from the as-built.
they only gave us 2-foot contours,
Okay, all right.
so I know
So it
it's
makes
very
it tough
limited.
to tell.
Yeah,
Pay by line.
yeah, you're right. I think a different firm did the as-built than did the original design as well.
So this is the current condition, these are still not taken down, is what our concern is.
As of my letter, yeah, as of my site visit, they weren't taken down.
That's just the silt fence.
Silt fence.
Yeah.
So can we just, I mean, basically forward them a copy of this and
Yeah, I think
a
that's simple
letter
enough.
stating that, you know,
The simpler, the better.
Mm-hmm.
or maybe just a short letter stating that, you know,
To be noted. All right,
yeah, CC.
what's the board want to do?
I mean, they're minor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But they still haven't removed the silt off though, right?
yeah. But that's not a big deal.
It's like leaving the cast on for extra long.
you know, they still have they would still have a COC to file with conservation, who will ask them the
Yeah.
same
And
questions.
that'll
regarding the silt
point
fence.
back to the as-built review that was done for this.
All right.
So, yeah, I guess at a certificate of compliance level, we may be, the Conservation Commission may be able to say, we want to make sure you're aware of this too. Just 2 points of communication on that, I think, are healthy. All right, Dan, make a motion, please.
So what are we motioning here? A site plan?
So a motion to approve the
As-built.
as-built
Okay,
and waive the final items on Merrill's list.
or note them.
Note and waive,
All
because
right.
you're waiving one of them.
All right, I'll make a motion that I just lost it.
Accept the as-bills as submitted for 23 Winter Street and waive the 3 Merrill items.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Okay, great. So roll call vote. Stefan?
Yes.
Do we still have Stefan here? Okay.
Hold on. Shoot. Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jim?
I was reading something.
All right, Jim?
All right.
Okay, Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott? Okay, great. All right, so, moving on, I think we have one more, or 2 more items of business. One has to do with the road bond money that was held back for this particular project, and the number is
$35,725.94.
That's right.
No, shoot. $39,313?
Yes. So we have to do both of these, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll take one for the 39,000 holdback as our first item of business. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we release funds for the road bond in the amount of $39,313.67.
Second?
Okay, roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
Okay. Now the next one.
All right, I'll make a motion that we return the remaining engineer reviewing funds to be released in the amount of $5,725.94.
Second?
All right. I have a motion and it's been seconded. Roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
Okay. So before we're done, we do have a set of minutes here that's been nicely prepared by Sue. These are the minutes from Monday, October 27th, 2025.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the Monday, October 27th meeting as presented.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, sorry. Roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
All right, great. So is there any other business before the board tonight?
Yes, the calendar for 2026.
Gotcha.
I object to the January 12th meeting. Just kidding.
Everybody happy with the calendar as it's been presented? There's also flexibility in this calendar. Because of the holidays and everything else, it's hard for us to get every month to get a 2-meeting month in. And, you know, if there's no work before us, there's no work before us. But if we've got work before us, we can always schedule another meeting. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a Monday. So there is some flexibility with this. We don't need any board, and we don't need, this doesn't require any board action, I don't believe. All right, everybody happy? All right,
I can make a motion to adjourn.
all right. Do I have a second for a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, roll call vote. Jim?
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Alicia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Dan?
Aye.
And Scott?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, folks. We're done.